This story comes from The Feminine Heroines and the 9 Little Red Riding Hood endings. It also has the Adversarian Merchant within the book covers. This is the palm reading Little Red Riding Hood ending. Copyright November 11th, 2010 by Cupideros. Little Red Riding Hood pulled the bobbin and opened the door. The wolf, seeing her come in, said to her as he hid under the bedclothes, "Put the chocolate cake and a little pot of butter upon the stool, and come into bed with me." But excited Little Red Riding Hood said, "Grandmama, Grandmama," and running up to the bed, placing the cake and a little pot of butter on the floor by the bed. "I met this palm reader. She read my palm and said this was a dangerous day for me." Little Red Riding Hood jumped up on top of the bed covers and lay close to the wolf, pinning him to the bed and knocking the breath out of him. Little Red Riding Hood noticed her grandmama's one arm outside of the bed covers. "Grandmama, what big arms you have. All the better to hug you with, my dear," said the wolf after he caught his breath. "Grandmama, you're so sweet." Little Red Riding Hood removed her hooded cap and shook out her short ponytails behind each ear. "You always told me to go out and make new friends." Little Red Riding Hood hopped up in the air. "Well, I did exactly that." Little Red Riding Hood turned her head this way and that, focusing on her grandmama again. "You must be hard to breathe. I mean, your nose is all covered up. Let me pull the bed covers down some." "Better to save my sense of smell for the dinner," replied the wolf. "Come on, Granny," said Little Red Riding Hood again, and the wolf thought better of it to cooperate a little. He lowered the bed covers. "Grandmama, what big nose you have." "I think big noses comes from your father's side of the family," said the wolf. "Anyway," continued energized Little Red Riding Hood, "I'll introduce you, Grandmama, to my new friends when they come over later this evening. And don't worry about remembering all the names. I hope your friends like my speaker ears." "Shut up," said Little Red Riding Hood, becoming confused and annoyed. "You can't help taking after your dad." The wolf chuckled. "I listen more carefully using these jackass ears," making fun of himself. "Grandmama, you used to model. Show me your legs." The wolf struggled to push one big hairy leg out from under the covers. "Ouch," he said as his hair snagged on the covers. "I'm sorry, Grandmama." Little Red Riding Hood paused. "What big legs you have." "I used to run marathons before having your mom, my dear." "And Grandmama, Grandmama, what big eyes you have." "All the better to see you growing up, my child." Little Red Riding Hood, getting suspicious, said, "Grandmama, Grandmama, and you have huge pointed teeth. All the better to eat you up with." And with these words, the wicked wolf forced himself out of the bed covers, revealing his big, hairy, massive body. "No, I say," said Little Red Riding Hood, jumping up back off the bed. "Grandmama, this sickness has made you big and hairy all over, and hungry enough to eat you up." "You're not, Grandmama, you're a—" The wolf leaped over the bed and grabbed Little Red Riding Hood, who struggled and kicked. Hidden in her bodice lace, Little Red Riding Hood reached in and slipped on her brass knuckles one woodcutter friend gave her. She tried hard to punch the wolf with her brass knuckles, but their bodies were too close together. She wanted to win this battle on her own. She kept pushing her palm against the wolf's long, hairy nose. "Oh, I can't remember what words to say," Little Red Riding Hood gasped in between her struggling. "Fire, fire, fire!" she screamed. In no time, the strongest woodcutter and all of her new friends in the forest burst through the door, grabbed the wolf, and hacked them into 2 pieces. "Are you okay, Little Red Riding Hood?" Little Red Riding Hood panted and wiped teeny beads of perspiration from her brow. "Oh, I say, you're fast. Fast as the palm reading lady said you'd be." Yes, she had some suspicions about a prowler around these parts lately. Her rescuers took the bed covers and draped it over the gory, chopped-up wolf. The strongest woodcutter smiled. "My wife not only reads palms, she makes great wolves too. And you're welcome to join us, Little Red Riding Hood." Oh, I say, I've never had wolf stew before, said Little Red Riding Hood in her excited, perky voice. She retrieved the chocolate cake and a little pot of butter and held them up. Do you think butter and chocolate cake goes great with wolf stew? Indeed, indeed, said the strongest woodcutter. The end.